with you.
I thought she was with you.
Hey there, and welcome back to Holding Court with the Nerd Queens, another episode with Snyder's Amazons. I'm Cole.
I'm Nana.
And today we have Adrian.
Hi.
We have Nash.
Hello.
We've got Meg.
What up?
Kat.
Hi.
And the one everyone's been wondering when we're going to hear from her, Danny.
Hello, everyone.
Yay! So for today's episodes, you guys asked us questions, and we promised that we will try and answer to our best knowledge. So let's just head into it. Let's start with the first question that we've got on our topic. So that one's from Mick, and it's a question. What is the most meaningful line of dialogue, either to the film, character, story, or to you personally, among all of Zach's filmography? So, Adrian, want to start?
Okay. I didn't choose anything from BSF or from BSF, BVS, or Man of Steel because I love the whole film. So I thought I would mention the lines in 300 when after whichever character says 1,000 nations of the Persian Empire descend upon you, our arrows will blot out the sun. And the reply is that we will fight in the shade.
Yes.
I love that because I love the determination to, when you know what your cause is and the people behind you and everything, that nothing will keep you from fighting for that. So I like the determination and the courage in that. And so I just love the attitude. So that one, then we will fight in the shade.
Yeah. Sounds good. What about you, Kat?
Let's see. I have a few, but my favorite one is from Man of Steel. You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun, Cal. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders. I like this quote because it's just very inspirational. It's uplifting. It's something that just doesn't apply to Superman, but it's kind of applies to, this is you in your life will stumble, you will fall, but you can, if you put your mind to it and believe in yourself, you can accomplish wonders. So it's just very uplifting and a positive quote for me.
To add on to that quote, I almost chose that myself, and I always apply that one to Zack Snyder and what his struggle is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's true. What about you, Danny? What did you choose?
Considering all the movies that I've seen from Zack, and of course being Superman my favorite character, I choose a short phrase. This is my world. Mm-hmm. That it's short, but after all that he went through, and Man of Steel is starting with a journey, finding himself, what he was, an inexperienced battle, defending Earth, and after all the doubt and the questioning that he suffered in Batman versus Superman, the fact that after all of that, he said, this is my world, regarding everything else, all the good, all the bad. I love this planet as it is. To me, that's my favorite one. Ever, mm-hmm. ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that hits the right spot.
It does.
Yeah. What about you, Cole?
One of my favorite quotes is from BVS, and it's actually Ma Kent talking to Clark. And she says, be their hero, Clark, be their monument, be their angel, be anything they need you to be, or be none of it. you don't owe this world a thing, you never did. And I love that quote because sometimes as a person, I overextend myself and I try to take care of everyone all at once, and I forget to take care of myself, and I kind of start to spread myself so thin. I try to save everyone and in the process, I forget to save myself. And I feel like I owe that to those around me because they're used to it. And that quote, it says to me that, like, if I can manage to hold up the world, I should. But I don't have to because I owe that to no one but myself. Also, I love the, you're psychotic, and that's four little words. They're to me, blah.
Yeah, we know where you were going with it.
That's another one, but that one has no deeper meaning. That's just awesome.
How about you, Nash?
Oh, that's a hard one. I picked something from BVS. 20 years in Gotham, Alfred. We have seen what promises are worth, how many good guys are left, how many stay that way. That line is so amazing. How Bruce delivers it is so incredible. And I think it's very relatable because, come on, every time you catch a newspaper today, every time you watch TV, there are always bad things happening. And I think Bruce is very lost in that moment, and he's very hopeless. And then after Superman saving the world and everything, he finds hope again. And that is very, very amazing to me. That's my favorite line ever from Zack's movies.
Nice. How about you, Meg?
So my favorite quote comes from Jor-El in Man of Steel, where he says, "The symbol of the House of El means hope. Embodied within that hope is the fundamental belief in the potential of every person to be a force of good. That's what you bring them. That's what you can bring them." And personally for myself, I think that I see too much of this in the world where people just assume that there's no good left in people. So I hold out on that hope that no matter who you are, you kind of have even a little bit of good still left in you to make a difference, make a change. And I just believe in hope. And that quote really strikes a nerve with me. In a good way, not a bad way.
And Nana, did you have a quote you wanted to share?
So for me, it's I looked at Meg's question, and there's also a very similar question from at Wicked Ivy. She's asking, "What's your favorite inspirational line?" So Meg is asking what's the most meaningful to me, while the other one is the most inspirational. And so I have kind of chose two different ones. So as far as the most meaningful, as of right now for me and how I see the context of the world, I go to Watchmen, which I'll probably go to a lot because I damn love that film, but still. And it's the conversation between comedian and Night Owl, where Night Owl goes, "What happened to us? What happened to the American dream?" And comedian replies, "It came true. You are looking at it." And they're basically, I think that you all know where they are. They're in this dumpster fire of things. And I think it really resonates with me. It resonated with me back then, but even especially right now in the era that we live in, with everything, how materialistic people are, how a lot of us forgot what's really important. This quote kind of really gets to me because I look around myself and I see that, whether it's people drinking from their plastic cups and not giving a shit about environment, to, even looking within our own fandom and our own movement and seeing that for some people, this is more about their own internet fame than about what we are actually fighting for. And I think this quote represents all of it. And it's sad, but it's truth, and we should probably pay attention to it. And that's why I think it's most meaningful to me. As far as inspirational, I had to think about it a lot. And actually, you girls inspired me right now. I think I would go with the same quote that Cole used, because I can relate to it in a very similar way that she is. I often try to be as best as I can, and I let it get to me a lot when I'm not. And the be whatever they need you to be or be none of it. Sometimes I have to remind myself that I can be none of it, and it's still okay. So that would be my two things.
Disclaimer, Nana and I are a lot alike, so we might have similar answers quite often.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
I actually have that written down, so I'm glad that I didn't bring it up. Because I agree with you. I love that line. So I'm glad
so powerful.
I think you guys can talk about it.
I think it's important, like this particular part of that line, be everything they need you to be or be none of it. I think it's something that it's really cool if we can sometimes take a step back and realize that, because I think every single person with some sort of an ambition can reach out to that quote at the darkest moments. At least that's what I think.
And then I take that line, as like it was Martha giving Clark that it's a choice. You don't have to, if you're going to do good, it shouldn't be out of obligation. It shouldn't be because you're forced to. It should be, come from a place of, genuine goodness and caring and not obligation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the fact
I think that's what makes it good, doesn't it? That you do it out of your own
free will.
Not because it's some sort of an obligation.
And I think
that goes to everything, really. Not just the good, but even like whatever you do it out of your heart. Don't do it because you have to,
and
be somebody someone wants you to be.
And the fact that it's being said by a mother figure makes it that much more powerful, because more parents really need to remind their kids that they are powerful in many things that they do, but they don't have to sacrifice themselves to be great.
All right.
We got pretty deep.
Yeah.
All right.
This is taking a deep turn. Anyway, let's go to another question. That one comes from. Sorry, do you want to see?
No, you go.
All right, it comes from ZOV Customs.
ZOV Customs, Lorenzo Abernathy the third.
Yes. I'm probably going to let those up to you because I suck at saying these handles. Anyway, what film genre do you want to see Zack Snyder do next? Horror, noir, western, etc. So which genre would you girls like Zack to tackle next?
All of them.
Yeah, right?
That's the right answer.
Zack is so versatile that he can... he has his own unique style, but he can turn that style into whatever genre he wants.
Yeah.
So for me,
those suggestions,
he can do anything.
like I think his noir or western would look really good.
I think a genre I would love to see him tackle would be science fiction, but
that's what I had.
Completely original. He has such an amazing visionary mind when it comes to stories. And, we're already kind of, sort of, getting, a bit of a horror/western-y feel, it looks like, with Army of the Dead. But, that's the vibe I'm getting from the pictures. I'm not sure if I'm on point with that. But I would love to see him do a just totally original science fiction. I'm pretty sure I'd be obsessed with it.
I want to see a, period piece, medieval. Henry VIII or something.
Fighting.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
Oh, that would
be amazing.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I want.
That just took my soul.
Okay, Okay, now I won't be able to stop thinking about that one.
I know,
Zach,
right?
if
How
you're
amazing is
listening,
that?
take it.
Yes, please.
Netflix. Give the man
What about
another.
kind of like, since we're getting Army of the Dead, it kind of has like it's going to have this Vegas Western thing. What if there was like well, I guess, would you consider any of Sucker Punch to be steampunk-esque? Not exactly. Because I was like, what if there was like a steampunk noir kind of thing? He could
It's
kind
a
of blend
steampunk
together.
mental thriller, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Where is that GIF when I knew the stop right there? I'm in. It says steampunk. It says noir. I'm in.
Yeah.
Hold on,
So that it's not just like, you know,
Give me a badass woman as a lead, and I'm sold.
Yep.
I'll be waiting in the cinema.
Zach Daddy, if you're listening, I want you to do what you want to do, and you can do any genre. You will have my support. You will have our support. We love you. You can pick any genre.
Yeah, I'll literally be in line waiting right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we starting the line?
Yep.
All right.
The next question we have is from Amateur Watcher at Ohio Dave. And this one, we all know Kat's going to have something to say. Between Night Owl in Watchmen, Bruce in BVS, and Leonidas in 300, who had the better bare-ass scene?
Oh,
That would be Bruce.
Yes.
Yes.
Hail the bat
that
butt.
was that body that he had worked so hard for to get into the shape of Batman. Like, I mean, come on. I want to take a shower with him. Naked. And have sex in that shower with him. Okay?
I was half
full-on
expecting
pounding
Kat to
against-
say that she's waiting for Henry Cavill to have his part, but
I don't think we can
And
handle
now
that
she
right
has
now.
forgotten what we're
If
talking
you
about.
wanted me to start talking about Henry, we would be here forever. So I stuck with whatever.
We'd have to
So
upload
on Amazon's episode 4, Kat is stalking Henry Cavill, everyone.
Honey, if we let her have the floor for Henry Cavill, we'd have to upload the episode on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yes, 'cause, I mean, I can get a little.
We know.
We know, and that's why we love you.
Aw.
But no, I
Hey, but I
totally.
gotta say, Night Owl wasn't bad either, though.
It wasn't,
No, it wasn't.
and
My king.
No.
Leonidas was
Leonidas,
nice too.
my king. He is the ruler of those scenes. I mean, for me, was all that tan body. It was.
He was mostly
I'm
naked
gonna
the whole
start-
time.
I don't want to start there, but it gives me good dreams, my King Leonidas.
Now, for me, it's definitely, I agree with Kat. Hail the bat butt.
Yeah.
Oh man.
yeah, totally. I agree with that too.
In the shower, like you can just fantasize, like having sex in that shower with him.
Okay.
And, like, him, like just pounding you
yeah.
away, and just.
Oh my god.
Okay, Kat, slow down. This is not the Pornhub episode, okay? That's
Okay.
next time.
Okay.
Gotta reel
I'll
that fit.
pass.
We gotta pull her in. Down, girl. Where's my spray bottle? All right.
All right,
Let's get to the
let's
next
go
question
into-
where it's safe.
Into some. Huh?
Let's get to the next question where it's safe.
No. Yeah.
With the next one is from the Not Authority, and the question is maybe for next. But how will women bring Zach back the respect he deserves? How will they get him back? I just want to, before we open up the discussion, I just wanted to say that I think that this question is probably asking about his co-stars or like women actors in general, and I feel like they're doing a lot for him, and I feel like women's part would be like us, the fans. They should be
Right.
doing what we're doing, talking about Zach and showing that there are female fans. And you guys open up the floor.
Yeah, I think continuing to speak up about the impact that his films have on women in general, but also spreading positivity when it seems like people just want to spread a false narrative about his movies. But, I mean, continuing to be like, yo, we're here and we're not going anywhere. And I know there's more of us out there than what we're saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that speaking up part is really important. I think that just joining this whole fight that we're in, I think it's really nice. I don't know how for you guys, but I think it's the same for you as it's for me. Always whenever I see a girl joining in, whenever there is a thread or something going on, it always makes me really happy to see, especially because Cole and I had the opportunity to be with the movement quite sort of early on, and we've seen, the group of girls joining in, and it's just when it started there wasn't that many of us, and now it's more and more and more girls, and I think that's really important. And I think that's the best way we can go about this, and it's also why we made this podcast, really. And like, I'm low-key hoping that this thing will carry on, and we will have more girls coming in as guests, and we'll get to talk to more of them, and just be loud.
Yeah.
Show everyone that you support Zach and don't step down. I think that's like the best we can do, really.
Mm-hmm. I always try to incorporate Zach into my tweets. I mean, just the other day there was what's her name? Reese Witherspoon was holding a goat. And I'm like, she's holding Zack Snyder. Just like, little things like that, like support, so like those haters know that there's like people who actually love him and care about him, and he's like a special guy to us. So
So when somebody starts bashing and calling everybody Snyder Bros, it's always nice to kind of pop up and be like, "Hey,
I'm not.
I'm not a bro."
I actually had to use that line too. I forgot who I was talking to in something, and I was like, "Well, I'm a girl and I like Zack Snyder, so what's
right?"
What's your problem?
Or they call all like Snyder fans like straight white males, and I'm like, "Oh, guess I'm a straight white dude today."
Yeah. But it's also like for us girls that are already involved with this, I guess, reaching out to other girls. Like, I've had it around myself, and Cole can tell you as well. It's just like when we speak to other girls, and it's like sometimes they don't even know,
Right.
So just spread the word and be like, hey, there is a powerful woman army potential here. But I think it should be not just women. It's just we are all equal in here. It should be men and women. We should all speak up, and we should all fight.
Men, women, non-binary.
We are all one.
Whatever you subscribe to, speak
out.
Because
sorry about that. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine, babe.
Yeah,
we
Kissy.
are all one.
And
all cats as well.
Yeah, Kissy's one of us.
Kissy is number one. She's the queen of us. She's meowing at us and telling us what to do and say.
All right.
Speaking her mind.
And the next question is
move
from
forward. So next one's from Dr. Meme Hatton. Hi, Chris. Anyway, he has a simple question. One movie for the rest of your life. Watchmen, Man of Steel, or Batman v Superman? For me, I'm sorry, ladies, Watchmen.
Batman v Superman.
Same, BVS. It's got literally my top 3 favorite characters, so...
Man of Steel.
Oh, Man of Steel too.
Man of Steel. Like, I went on when I first got like the DVD, I watched it for a week straight, and like 3 times a day in the summer, like when I had a break. Even now, I watch it maybe 2 times a week. Just it helps me relax. It just helps me forget about life. And I mean, and I like to say I'm an OG bitch. Like, that's the original. That's the first one that came out, and that's my favorite one. So I could watch Man of Steel and never get tired of it. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same.
The next question is from Amateur Watcher Ohio Dave. What's your favorite portrayal of a strong woman in a Snyder film? That's a tough
Lois
question.
Lane.
Yeah, same.
Lois Lane.
Yeah, she's gutsy and she's smart and still soft.
And it's like, I mean, obviously there's Diana, and everybody would look up to Diana.
yes.
But the thing about Lois is that she is human. She is, in a way, in that certain way, more relatable than any other woman in there to me. Because, first of all, she's got my dream job, and my dream man. But also, all right, where is the lie there, though?
Right.
But anyway, it's also because how she is. Like, genuinely, she is so strong. She's my favorite portrayal, not because she's strong, but she's also extremely relatable to me. I can relate to the action she makes. I can relate to her opinions and kind of see the world through her eyes. And I think that's why she is my favorite portrayal. Though I feel like I'd like to mention also Clark's mom, Lara, his Kryptonian mom. Because, I mean, what is the definition of a strong woman if not a mother who is willing to give up her child to protect him?
I agree. 100%.
I think that's a kind of strength that is really hard. Like, for me, it's really hard to imagine, not just because I'm not a mother, but also and I don't even ever plan on being a mother, but still, it's just something I can't even imagine. I can't even phantom that that's something that you could do. And I think that's a strength that is really something admirable for me. But go on, guys. Add whatever you guys have to do.
Well,
I joined that. For me.
I think my favorite would definitely be exactly what Nana said when it came to Lois Lane, like word for word. She's got my dream job, exactly, like 110%. But also Queen Gorgo from 300. I love that Leonidas sees her as his equal and that she doesn't ask permission to be his equal. She basically asserts herself. She's perfect representation of a classic Spartan woman. And she's also a good example for people to see, like, this is how a marriage should be, you know? So your husband wants to be badass, but he should kind of look to you to be like, permission to be badass, permission granted, you know? And she rules her people and she sacrifices for her people. And she's just an amazing character.
Yeah. Agree. And we can't forget about Diana. I mean, she in BVS, you know, when she was conflicted on whether to help or not, and you know, when she get off that plane, she was like, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna do it. And, you know, how she saved Bruce, like, I think that sent a message that women are strong and they can save men, and they can save, like, men, you know, like, that are not normal, that are not humans, if that makes sense. Well, Bruce is human, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
That, because, like, her entrance is, like, so, like, powerful, and it just shows that, like, he respects women. Enough to show that, like, hey, a woman can save a man, a leading man.
Not only save them, she carries them on her back.
Exactly.
All right, let's follow up then. Next question from TPZ Abdul. I genuinely was so mad at him for this question because, like, it took me forever, like 3 days thinking about it. If you could watch only one of Zach's films with him, which one would it be and why? Snyder Cut doesn't count.
That's not fair.
This is an easy.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is a really.
So the unfair answer first, then, from all of us is the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, and now we can go and obey the question.
It's actually a pretty easy answer for me because I would love to sit down and watch Sucker Punch with Zach and get to know, like, where his ideas came for each scene. Like, I could just sit there for hours breaking down each scene with him step by step. Like, the thing about comic book films, like the other films we've seen with him other than Dawn of the Dead, were like, they all had precedent. Dawn of the Dead was also, it was made before, and the comic book films all came from different comics put together. And as fans, we can break it down. Sucker Punch was his idea. We can't break that down without a little help from him. And I would love to get, like, details, like, and also, like, example of, because you can tell there's different mental illness that come into each different scene because, of course, they're in an asylum. But, like, I'd love to see where he incorporated that, or, like, why did he put that line there? What does this battle mean from the master's mouth himself?
So you would basically be the person who talks through the whole movie, yeah?
Yeah, but so, hey, I'm sure if you sit down with Zach with one of his movies, and you tell him, yes, you can talk, he will talk the whole film. So you know what? Yes, I will talk the whole film.
Okay. Any other input?
I want to watch. Go ahead.
I would want to watch Man of Steel with him, obviously, but I would want to know, like, where he got some. I know some of his ideas and things are from comic books, but, like, watching through, like, what was his plan for his original, like, 5 story? Like, was there any clues or any scenes that he had thought of or that he didn't think of that he wanted to add? Or that he had to take out, just more of, it's almost like more of like, I would want to know more like behind the scenes of Man of Steel in Snyder's words, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like just more explanation on what he took out and what, he wanted to keep, and just more about that movie because it's my favorite movie.
Yeah, mine too. I think he always knew how nerd community was and how defensive they are about the superheroes. So I wanted to know why he wanted to make this movie, no matter what, He came up with Man of Steel, and we clearly know that he doesn't give a fuck about mainstream and everything, but why?
Yeah, he made it for the fans, yeah.
Yeah, for us,
he made it
of course.
for us.
I think I would pick BBS just so I could, like, nerd out with him over it.
Yeah, that would be another choice I would definitely make, would be if not Sucker Punch, BVS, so I can just geek out the entire time with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want him to know, because that one was so unfairly bashed. I want him to see, how much we love it.
Like, listen, you don't understand. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love
you
it.
Don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm terrible because I pick Watchmen, but I always pick Watchmen. It's just that film's so important to me.
No, it's a really deep
everything there. And I've told you on previous podcasts, and I've told people before, it's just that film was really important to me in the time of my life when I really needed something like this. And I know it's not essentially like super, super positive film, but I think I needed that at the time. And I think I still need it, because a way I see it is like, it's really a bit like a joke, It's like, life sucks, but that's okay. I can make it through. And it's just that film means so much to me. And there's so much that you can discuss about the background of it and what's going on right now and what's going on back then. And there's also other aspects to it. I mean, I grew up in a post-communist country. So I grew up, I told you that also before, I've seen both sides of that invisible curtain, or at least aftermath of it. And in that context, this film and the comic book itself is really interesting as well. So for me, I think that would be the choice.
Yeah.
Anybody, anything else to add? Or we move along?
The next question is with Zaragaz Rex at Zaragaz King. What female characters would you love to see get a solo film in the DCEU?
or the
Batwoman.
possible Black Label.
Black Label, if you
Batwoman.
don't know, is a darker run of the comic.
Can I just say Poison Ivy?
Yes.
Yes.
Always.
Catwoman, Poison Ivy, both.
I want
Yeah.
Batwoman
Give
so
me
bad.
Ivy.
I have something
I
that's out
said
of the
Poison
box.
Ivy
I want
or
Lois Lane.
Artemis.
Wait, what do you want, babe?
Poison Ivy or Artemis.
And then what did Kat say?
Lois Lane to have a solo film with Amy Adams, and like Henry being like
The
a
side
secondary
character. The love
side
interest.
character.
Yeah.
And Amy's the lead, and just like that, you know how their relationship and their dynamic between their relationship is, and how in a way she kind of saves him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, emotionally. Like she's there for him emotionally, like, and whenever he's feeling down and sad, and how she's there for him. And like I just want to, you know, see a movie like that. Like, sure, he saves her, but I want to see how she saves him. Like more scenes and actual whole movie about that.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's no secret. Anyone who knows me knows I need, and I mean need for my basic survival, I need a Batgirl movie. I need a Barbara Gordon Batgirl movie. She means the world to me. And the fact she hasn't hit the big screen yet is a crime against humanity.
I think I'd even love to see Oracle movie.
Oracle, yeah. To see her as Oracle or Batgirl. I could do with both, honestly. Especially as Oracle, because then we get a second disabled superhero on the screen.
I agree with that. I want to see the whole Bat family, and I want to see Batgirl. Absolutely.
There's one character, though, that's not female that I really want to see on the big screen. But I think I'll save that for another question, actually. I forgot that we had another question like that. Anyway.
All right, so let's move on to that question, or do you guys have anything to add?
I would love
wait.
to have a Catwoman movie. I have a soft spot for Catwoman. Her
Cats.
origin, I think, is we need a proper Catwoman solo. That's for me. Female character.
I can't help myself. I have to say, Fayora. I need more of her.
Oh, yes.
Oh my
Fayora.
God, yes.
That would be my second one after Lois Lane. Like Fayora, like when she was like growing up on Krypton, like training and like dating Zod, and like how she is the way
Right?
she is. Like, oh my God, that would be amazing
Yes.
to get like an insight on like Fayora growing up. Like, oh my God.
Yes.
There you go,
Smash
Warner
your
Brothers.
genius.
Here's your future slate of films.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, are you listening?
Make it happen.
You
Make
owe
it
us
happen.
a lot.
Make
You
it
owe us a
so.
lot. Make it happen, please.
Just don't use Joss Whedon's work anywhere
Fuck
near
no.
these girls.
No. Seriously.
No.
No
No,
more boob
I,
jokes.
Just all of it to Zach, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yes, give it all to Zach. Zach does
Or
all
Zach's
those movies.
friends, because he seems to have friends with directors that seem to know what they're doing.
Yes.
For me, I think like I said before, but Batwoman, because she's lesbian, she's Jewish, she was in a branch of the armed forces, and I think seeing all of that in a female character on the big screen would be pretty cool. She deals with like a lot of trauma, so she's a member of the Bat family, so of course
It's
she
kind of a
does.
prerequisite to be in the Bat family.
Yeah, but I think seeing her whole story on screen would kind of probably resonate with a lot of people. She goes through a lot of alcoholism, substance abuse, so I think it would probably be pretty successful as well.
Yeah,
And she's awesome, so
she is. She definitely is.
I love her.
So let's move forward. At Lunchbox 228, I appreciate the choice of the handle, is asking what DC character relates best to you, and is there any unknown characters you'd love to see in the DCEU, and also
One at a
favorite DCEU soundtrack. Now, if I can, I'll reply to this first. The one that relate best to me. I asked actually Cole about this. She said, and I think I agree with her, She said, I'm somewhere between Ivy and Black Canary. She had a longer speech to it, so she can tell you. But basically, she says it's because I'm a bitch.
I did not.
No, you're not. You're sweet.
No, but any unknown characters, I was hoping to reply to this. I want Red Hood in the DCU. I need Red Hood. That's like I can even sacrifice Poison Ivy. I want Red Hood. I am obsessed. I need it. And my favorite soundtrack's Wonder Woman. Just by the way, FYI. But anyway, go on, girls.
For me, it would be that relates the best to me would be Superman. It's because I'm a nurse and we're both in the business of saving lives, and we have to put our bias aside on whose life we're saving because every life is worth saving no matter who the person is. I mean, if I have a patient who's, a known criminal, I still have to give him treatment. I still have to pretty much save his life if anything were to happen. You have to kind of put your bias aside and just do that. And I feel like Superman, he kind of has to do the same thing. He's saving people that he doesn't know. And I think that, and even if he did know, he was trying to save Zod before he killed him. So yeah, it shows that he also believes in that all life should be saved regardless of what they've done. Well, not all lives, but similar.
Most of them.
I mean, do you see the Nurse Superman reference here? I'm trying to get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. Totally and completely. We follow you.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I'll go out and say I think that I relate to Wonder Woman the most because she believes in the good of people. She believes that you're deserving, you are worth saving. I kind of try to model my it's going to sound funny, but my decisions in work and life, thinking about, all right, well, what would she do in this situation? And I don't know. That's just how I feel.
I don't think that's silly at all, actually. I think that's really nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Meg, can I say something?
Yeah.
At work, if I have a patient who's rude to me, I literally think, okay, this is so silly that I'm even telling you guys this. I think, okay, what would Superman do? He needs to save this person's life. I need to get this person to take their medicine so that they'll get back to health and be normal. And I always think, what would Superman do? You can't be mean back to them. Superman is going to do everything to save his life. So that's how I need to be and be, cordial and do what I need to do, no matter how they treat me. So yeah, I'm glad somebody else thinks that way too, because I feel like
this is ladies, precisely why I'm somewhere between Poison Ivy and Black Canary, because when some customer is rude to me, I either want to poison them or scream at them.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like I relate to her the most because she always wants to do the right thing, the good thing. And she doesn't really care how it takes her to get there. And that's how I feel. But the person I want to see in the DCU the most, maybe not an unknown character, but I need to see Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
He's probably, if I have a top 3, he's number 4. So he needs to be in there.
I would say that the character I relate to the most, I'm a cross between Barbara Gordon and Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn because sometimes I am a bit manic, but I'm also a lot smarter than some people give me credit for. And Barbara because I relate to her a lot. She's very big on family. She takes care of her dad as much as he takes care of her. She's determined to excel at all things. She basically decides, no, you don't get to decide I'm going to be Batgirl. I'm going to be Batgirl. And even after she becomes disabled for a time, she decides to continue being a hero as Oracle. And I grew up thinking I was going to be a state trooper. And when I got sick, when I was diagnosed as disabled with multiple chronic illnesses, and that was taken away. That was kind of me facing my own personal Joker shooting me in the gut. And I took a lot of inspiration from her and how she turned her life around. And I just relate to her so much. She's stubborn. She doesn't let anyone stop her. And she doesn't want you to basically feel bad for her. And that's the same way I am. Like, if somebody says, oh, I'm sorry, I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
But an unknown character, I want The Question. My little brother is obsessed with the character The Question. He's from the Justice League.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like the goofy version of Rorschach. He dresses like exactly the same, but he doesn't have the Rorschach test on his face. But I want it not just for him, because I know my brother would lose his mind if Rorschach was... Not Rorschach, if The Question had his own film or was in the DCEU. But also because he'd be so much fun. He's such a complex character, from goofy to just really... He's frighteningly smart. He's on par with Batman, a little wacky, you know. He'd be so much fun. And as for favorite soundtrack, I'd have to say it's a torn between BVS and Man of Steel.
You know what? I forgot to say my favorite soundtrack when I answered.
Same.
Mine, I do love Man of Steel and BVS equally, but for the sake of the question, I will say Man of Steel because, like I said, I'm an OG bitch, so Man of Steel.
Okay,
I think,
for me now, I think I relate the most to Jessica Cruz. I really like her because she's a Latina. She has anxiety problems like me, but she's always trying to overcome herself.
And she's a
And
badass.
I think that's amazing.
And she's a badass like you are.
Oh, that's cute. Let's see. And of course, for the character, I would like to see her in the DCU. I think more people needs to know her, and I think she deserves a top tier writing from now on. And the soundtrack, I think it's BVS for me. That's a hard one, but BVS is the most powerful soundtrack for me in the DCU.
Is there anyone else who wants to add on to this question? Did everyone talk?
Danny?
Yes. Being a Superman fan, I'm related the most to Batman and the dark, depressive side of him, and how he moves forward from them. I usually think I have trust issues. Sometimes I kind of go really sad about how I see the world and how people is with each other. And Batman really is fighting his own humanity. Is fighting the loss of hope. Because you can see him dressing in black and being almost like a shadow, but he is always expecting the best of people. He fights, he protects, because he expects, he has faith that we can be better. That's something that I have in common with Superman, I think. But being him a human, I think I can relate with him the most. And my favorite DCU soundtrack, of course, it gets me going, it lifts my heart into heavens, and it brings me joy and energy every day. I listen a little bit every day.
Why didn't we think of Batman, guys?
I think we were all focusing on the brighter side of things. Batman,
but it's like Batman, like it's who you relate to. Like I don't relate to Batman at all. I see good in people. I don't try to see. Like I'm a very trusting person. Like Clark. Like I trust people. Like that's just how I see the world. I mean, I love Batman, but I don't really relate to him and how his view of the world is.
I relate to him quite a lot, but
me too.
But I think a lot of us do. Like, the majority of people, I think, these days are so disenfranchised with the way the world is at the moment. Like, not many of us see the silver lining. So I think it's easy
Or you're like me, wear rose-colored glasses.
A little bit. Just a little bit, honey.
I mean, is there anything wrong with wearing rose-colored glasses? I just want to see the
I
positive
think it's great.
It's good to have hope.
Yeah,
I think we need more people like that.
But like,
okay, I'll have babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have babies so they can be like me. With Henry Cavill.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, the next question, ladies, keep it in your pants over there, is from @Sufayan_H. For everyone, this question's for everyone. For Zach's next film, Army of the Dead, what aspect gets you excited, and which cast member are you excited to see?
Oh, can I start with this?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the Huma Qureshi, she's a Bollywood actress, and I'm half Indian, so it's like it's really, you don't really see that many, like, even just Indian Americans in American movies. Mm-hmm. And I just having, like, Zack Snyder, he's like the king of diversity, and like the fact that he picked her, like somebody that I can kind of relate to, because she is, a Bollywood actress, and she is, like me, so half like me. So I just like the diversity of it. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm most excited to see Chris D'Elia, my favorite comedian, in a movie with my favorite director. I watch his podcast literally like every day it comes out. Well, every week that it comes out. And I love hearing him like drop little snippets of what he's been doing in Albuquerque with Army of the Dead. But it's like his first big movie, so I'm excited for him. I think I'm most excited for, like, which aspect is I'm excited to see kind of what the zombies look like. And just to see, like, zombie movies become a thing again, because I feel like zombies kind of fell off. Like, and now I feel like Zach's going to bring them back.
He'll bring them back.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not a very big zombie fan. I kind of think it's overdone, personally. But for Zach, I'm excited to see him do not only another zombie film, but one where he has got complete and total free reign. Because I did like Dawn of the Dead, but I feel like with complete and total free range, he's going to go nuts, and it'll be awesome. So I'm stoked for that. And I'm not really stoked for anyone in the cast. There's a few names I'm familiar with. But I'm mostly just excited for the film itself and to see what madness Zach is bringing to the screen.
I agree on that one. Like, I'm excited about the whole cast in a sense, like, as a whole, because when I first saw it, I was like, see, this is what diversity is, and it doesn't need to be shoved into our faces. Hey, look, we're diverse, because you can just see it.
And in that aspect, I want to add that diversity is more than just black and white.
Yeah.
Like, he has other nationalities, and the fact that he has a Bollywood actress, like, that's like, his diversity is different from what other people's view of diversity of just black and white. Like, he includes different ethnicities, and so that's what makes me even more excited for that, and that's why I think Zach is a genius for doing that.
For Army of the Dead,
Ana de la Reguera. I can't wait to see Ana de la Reguera. I don't know. I need some Latina force kicking some zombie ass. I can't wait to see that. I think she's going to do great.
I'm just excited to see how Zach elevates the genre, like he does with everything.
Yeah.
And then he's only gotten better to me with each film. So to see what he's going to do with this after everything he's already done, I can't wait.
Oh, and I want to see blood. A lot of blood.
Yes. I want it spraying through the screen.
Yeah, and for a character, I want to see, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Ella Purnell.
I think you got it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I think since her relationship with her father, David Bautista, is going to be very emotional and to see what Zach is going to do with their relationship. I'm looking forward to it.
Anyone else?
I think we can move forward.
Okay, the next question is from Shannon at super_Shanko. Favorite secondary character, as in a non-super, non-related to the heroes, directly, like family and or love interest. So like none of those. It has to be a secondary character. Will it help if I kick this one off?
Sure.
I feel like my answer is pretty damn obvious. I love Alfred.
I was just going to say Alfred.
Yeah.
Especially Zach's interpretation of Alfred. I love the sass. I love the badassery.
Oh my god. The sass.
I love how smart he is, too. Like, he can fully well use all of Batman's gadgets and gizmos as well.
Use them. He helps him maintain and design
Yeah,
them.
exactly. He makes them.
What I loved in recent years with Alfred was we saw in Gotham, he was this badass, and then after a few seasons of Gotham, we got BVS with Jeremy Irons as Alfred, and that badassness continued with a new actor playing. I was like, oh my god, perfection in every way. I love him.
Yeah.
I love that he's
I agree.
technically a hero without having a suit.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Well, I obviously choose Alfred as well, but I think my personal pick would be Etta Candy.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that she is very underestimated character, and I mean, even back in comics, she's pretty badass.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
It's also a thing. It's like you see this character, this like supposedly unimportant character, this plus size lady in an absolutely unimportant job supposedly, and still she kicks ass and she still does such a cool stuff, and I'm just such a big fan because it gives me hope.
I love when she says that line of when Diana looks at the corset and she says, "Why would anyone want to hide their stomach or whatever?"
Yeah.
And she says, "Yeah," says the chick with a flat stomach, and I'm like, "Yes, exactly."
You're like, oh, I felt that.
So funny.
You know, I
love
thought
it.
of one. At first, I didn't I couldn't think of one, but I thought of one. Christopher Maloney as the Colonel.
Yes,
Nathan
he was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, especially that line. He's like, when he told Feyre, he's like, you know, a good death is a good reward. Like he sacrificed himself for the humans. So you know, he's kind of like a human Superman sacrificing himself. So as far as secondary, I would say him. At first I was going to say Feyre, but then I read the question and it said non-super. So I'm like,
Non-super.
You're like, that makes
Christopher
it
Maloney
hard.
can do it.
He got
not do it,
this.
but like you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can think of the DCU version of Perry White. I really like him.
Yeah.
And I have this thought that he always knew about Superman identity.
Yeah.
You know?
He seems to lean towards knowing what's going on. Smarter than the average bear.
It's like, I totally know what's going on. You guys totally know I know, but we're not going to talk about it.
And then his reaction to, like, at the end, when he's looking at the paper, like, the reporter died during the thing. He's just looking like, okay, yeah. Like, that's my, like, you know, you think a boss would be sad, but he's just, like, flipping through the page, like,
Yeah.
because he knows it's Superman.
He's like, whatever you say.
All right. Next question from at Return of the Cool. This one's pretty tough, actually, for me to answer. But it says, are you all looking forward to Wonder Woman 84? And what do you think it'll stay true to the films that came before, like BVS or Wonder Woman? I personally, to start it off, am looking forward to Wonder Woman 84. I remember me and Nicole were actually at Comic-Con when they first showed the rough footage. It's actually been on Twitter now, but we've seen it when they showed it in Hall H, and that was over a year ago now. And it got us pretty hyped. For me, it's also personally, again, the Cold War topic. Cold War on its own is really an interesting topic on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So I am excited, but whether or not it'll stay true to the films, I'm hoping it will, but I'll be quite honest, I am not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I personally have a lot of trust in Patty Jenkins. So I'm pretty confident that it'll be okay, that it'll be close to the it'll still like be part of the DCEU as it is and everything and what Zach laid out. I'm really excited for it, same reasons that Nana said. And honestly, I just want more Wonder Woman, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for it. As soon as like even just the logo was like dropped on like Facebook, I was like, okay, yes, I'm 100% on board with this.
You're like, I'm alive.
Yeah, and like I know Patty has went on and said that she loves that era, especially the year 1984, not just because of like the aesthetic, but like what was going on during the time, like the AIDS crisis, the Cold War, like you guys had mentioned. I don't know. I like what you said is that you have full trust in Patty Jenkins, or like you believe in her, and so do I. I think Warner Brothers knows what they have with Patty and Wonder Woman, and I hope that they wouldn't interfere much with it. But I believe that they'll be true to BVS and Wonder Woman.
Anyone else? Other than
Kissy.
Kissy's like telling me, answer your thing. Okay, I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer. I love Wonder Woman, but I'm not looking forward to it. I mean, I will watch it in theaters. I'm very skeptical. I just...
You're worried.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm kind of skeptical. I don't trust the studio, but I mean, I still will be watching with interest because I fell in love with these characters and these actors.
Exactly. So, and I do not think that it will stay true to BVS and Wonder Woman. I think that it's going to be complete. This is just a guess. I just feel like it won't be the same type of feel from those movies. Yeah. And I don't know if it has to do with how it's being directed or produced, or if it's because it's in a different time, like it's in the 80s. So I honestly don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but it's just, that's how I feel.
No, this is why we have a diverse group here with different opinions, and that's what we love.
That's what's so cool about us.
And then we just wait and see. You know, like I'm definitely open to loving it or loving aspects of it if I can't have everything from before.
We'll wait and see, and then we'll make an episode about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Does anyone else have anything they want to add?
Oh, just for me, I think this movie seems to be a good tale that we work for its own, you know? Not just like the OG DCU, but I am excited for it. But I have this weird feeling about it as well.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay, the next question is from Hamad. Hamad Dajin. It says, "What would you?"
Hang on, we skipped.
Oh, Damien Goal 30.
Yeah.
What are the similarities and differences between or in the portrayal of the women in ZS movies, and how do they reflect in our society? It's a bit of a loaded question, but
this is very loaded.
My answer is that all the big common denominator that all the females in Zach's film have is they have independence. They have each one has their own power, and he lets them unapologetically show it. He doesn't have any of the female cast members in any of his movies really conform to society norms, where like of a quiet woman or as someone who lets the man do the saving. So that's my answer for the question.
I think, just to piggyback off of that, I think that the difference, or not the difference, but what makes Zach's portrayal of women stand out for me is that it's real. In the sense that, like, you can have the strong woman in the film, but just like Cole said, you don't have to confirm her into some sort of a box. They are real, in the sense as they are facing the real kind of situation that we face in daily life, whether it's discrimination or just the, you know, whatever it is that we're facing here, they are facing in those films, and they are dealing with it as women with their own power as women. It's just, it makes it real. It's not something that's like made up and you're just looking at it, but that makes no sense. No woman would ever have done that. Yeah. You see it and it's real. Not that they are strong. They are strong, but they are strong in a real, relatable way. And I think that's really important, at least for me.
And the good stuff I would like to add to that is that you look at them and they don't change. I mean, they evolve, which is, there's a huge difference there. Usually when you see a female character going through a struggle or whatever, or abuse or whatever, they change, they turn violent, they turn depressive. And these women, they not, they evolve, they grow strong. They don't change who they are. It's something that it's awakened from them through their struggle or their fight or whatever they go through. That's basically what brings them all together. They all evolve. They don't change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not only that, the way he writes the women in every single one of his films, without fail, they're not the kind of, well, if a woman does it, it'll get done right.
Right,
Like,
no attitude and arrogance or chip on their shoulder. They're balanced with vulnerability and humility, which, you know, makes you like them and relate to them. And it balances the strength with the vulnerability. And that's in the male characters, too.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it can even show that the vulnerability and all that, it can also be your strength in certain situations, which I think is really important to see. And as you said, it's important to see with male characters as well. Anybody got anything to add?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one will be the one from Hamad. His username is Hamad Dajin. And his question is, what would you consider your favorite moment / part in Batman v Superman? For me, that is so easy. I know I love Wonder Woman's entrance, but that's not my favorite part. My favorite is the warehouse scene.
Absolutely. That's great.
That scene.
I was going to go with Wonder Woman entrance.
Oh, that one can be your favorite, babe.
But I just love it.
Yeah, I'll go with Clark meeting his father in the mountain. That trip, that journey into the mountain, alone, cold, and how he had this interaction with his father's ghost, which deep down, it wasn't, it was sort of, I didn't see it as a ghost, but as a representation of what Jonathan put in Clark's heart. I don't really think he was watching it because he was always giving his back to that image. It was more like talking to what Jonathan told him and put on his heart. So that conversation in the mountain was deep down was him talking to himself, reflecting. So that's my favorite part.
My favorite part would be at the end when Batman said, you know, we fight, we kill each other, we fight, we forgive. You know, that quote. It just shows that the character growth that he went through, and the line that it is true. You know, every day people betray each other, people, you know, backstab each other, but in the end, not everybody does that, and men are still good. You can find good men wherever you go. You just have to, you know, in a way, look for them. But it's just that quote just really it does something for me. That all these things happen, but there are some men who remain good because even though all those things already happened to them. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It does, yeah.
And I just want to add one more. Like, another moment that I like was when, after the Capitol explosion, when Superman visits Lois Lane at the hotel, she's like, this means something, like, you know, because he's feeling all down, like, you know, he could have done something, but that's when she's saying that, you know, this is hope, this means something, like, in a way, trying to, you know, save him emotionally, to have him to continue doing what he does best. So, and it was just like a romantic, cute moment. Even though he flew away, it's still romantic to me. So I like that part.
Anyone else?
I love the opening. I love the poetic. Like, if I just put it on, I just go,
Everything makes sense.
And then I love it every second after that.
Just the whole film, really.
The whole
Everything.
film.
Yeah. It's hard to choose.
All of the above.
It's like you watch the film, it's like, and this part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just for the benefit of our listeners, Meg had to sign off and head out for the night, so she's already taken her leave, and she'll be back next time. And so our next question, we've already actually answered. It was by Wicked Ivy, a.k.a. Gabby. We already, the favorite inspirational line. We kind of put that in with our favorite quotes. So the next question is from Frank in the fandom, Frank's Fandoms. What theories do you have for Wonder Woman 84? What direction do you think they'll go? I think we kind of already answered that one too.
I'm just going to say, I genuinely hope that they'll explore the war topic. This is the history nerd in me, but I really hope they do. Like, I hope that we get kind of a real look at the era again, because I just really enjoy that in the films.
I'm actually pretty confident they might, because they were filming in DC, you know, Washington D.C. So I really hope you're right that that'll happen. I think that it would be great to see that.
Anything to add, girls?
Nope.
Okay. We're on to the last few. We might have to save a question or two for later. Let's see.
Well, the next one we've got is from Rena.
Yes.
Hi, Rena.
Hi, Rena. We love you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So Rena's asking, which Zack Snyder movie holds the most meaning in your life? Which one affected more in your life perspective and decisions, and why?
Well, for me, it's it'll definitely have to be BVS for reasons I've explained on this podcast and others. Basically, the way that mental illness is portrayed, the way that different obstacles come, and you can tell the way that Zach has the characters work their way through them. The way that he has Bruce reacting to the world, and then also like that balanced with how Clark is finding his way. It all means a lot to me, and also helps me put into perspective, because it's like on one side you have the hero who's brand new to the game, and then the other one's the disenfranchised veteran, and it's kind of good to compare the two when trying to figure out how to solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mine would be BVS as well, as far as holding meaning, just because of what you just said, because of the two sides, the two different personalities, and how you can go about life, and how it relates to you in certain aspects. Like when Clark, even though we know he's inherently good, there are times where he doubts himself and kind of goes through his own, like, I want to say, like, depression. We all go through that. Like, that's something that had like a meaning for me. And then in the end, when Bruce was doing that whole line about men being good, like, look at, after all of this that's happened to him, he still wants to help and do good. It just really hit home for me as far as how I feel emotionally with that movie.
For me, it's Man of Steel. I love how the way Clark finds himself in the middle of a mean world to him, and he chooses to love humankind anyway. I think that's so inspiring. And that end, when he smiles to Lois and Lois welcomes him to the planet, it's so wholesome. I love it.
Yeah. For me, it's Man of Steel as well. Seeing a character grow, mature, the way it was portrayed in that movie was amazing to see. I mean, it shows us. I'm going to say it differently. For me, it was amazing how parenthood changed Clark's fate, or Kyle in this case. I've always had the impression that Kryptonians in general were conquerors, where they arrived to planets not to protect them, but to change them and to conquer them. And how Clark was affected, changing his fate by the hands of his parents, the Kents. For me, was as a mom, was how you can change the perspective of life of a human being that depends on you. It's really amazing.
For me, I think it's hard to choose between Batman v Superman and 300, but I love in Batman v Superman where Superman kind of represents optimism and then coming up against obstacles, unforeseen obstacles, and he overcomes those. And then at the same time, with Batman being the sort of weary pessimism and finding hope again. So yeah. I absolutely love that. And then when 300, I love the concept of soldiers going into battle who have each other's back, and they're just there's a commitment to and a bond, I think, in that with each other. But I think in the everyday world, because I'm not a soldier, I can still embrace that in family relationships and friendships. I just think it'd be really great if we had that kind of love and deep bond and commitment in every relationship, or as much as it depends on you, and is healthy to have that kind of deep bond.
Loyalty.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's the big thing from 300 that I got out of that, loyalty. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I wish, in everyday's interactions with everyone, whether it be relationships or family members, that we're all going through the same thing. We're all trying to survive, that, we need each other. We need the loyalty. We need to know that, so-and-so has your back. Mm-hmm. 300 is, a perfect movie showing that.
Where they're all, it's that, all for one,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All for one, yeah. One for all.
Exactly.
Okay, are we ready for the next question, ladies?
Yeah, I think so. Because I pretty much answered this question earlier on, so there's really no point in me adding to it.
Okay, we've already answered this question, so rapid fire answers. Favorite Snyder movie? Me, Batman v Superman.
Yeah, you're going to push me, Batman v Superman.
Watchmen.
Man of Steel.
And that was from Bearded Batman. And the second one from Bearded Batman. Favorite casting done by Snyder? Well,
Henry Cavill.
Ben Affleck.
Henry Cavill, Superman.
So it seems to be a tie between
I'm sorry, but Ben was the perfect Batman, and I hope he comes back.
I think
Ben is perfect, but my favorite is Henry Cavill as Superman.
This just in, listeners. Snyder's Amazons undecided between Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck.
Yeah, how about I just answer the Trinity?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair enough. All right. Then there's a question from Alex Torres at Mabel Donkey. Favorite on-screen Amazon?
Antiope.
Sorry?
Antiope.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, I had to jump in there before anyone else could steal it.
for me, on-screen Amazon is Diana, and if I went to off-screen, I choose Artemis. I know she's a bit of a not typical Amazon, but still.
Yeah, mine would be Diana, and second would be Antiope.
Antiope and Hippolyta, and basically all of the Amazons are flawless and perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they are amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, the next question is from Lena Depp. What is the most
By the way, girls, just a suggestion, but I think we should invite Lena as one of our guests sometime.
Oh, yes, please.
We'll have to see sometime, yeah. But the question is, what is the most emotional scene from Zach's movies? The one that has made you tear up? I have several, but seeing Laura and Jor-El say goodbye to baby Clark hits me every time, and the music.
Mine is when Lois Lane in Superman, he says, "This is my world, you are my world, I love you," and then he grabs the spear and about to kill, or about to be killed. I cry at that scene, even before he's killed.
Yeah.
I cry when he says, "This is, my world, you are my world." Like, every time I've seen this movie, like over 100 times, and I've cried 100 times. And one of my goals in life is to not cry at that scene. One day it'll happen, I think. But I just watched it like last weekend, not this one, but the last weekend, and I still cry. So I don't think I will never not cry. It's just so romantic, and a man who's doing that to save her life, knowing that he's gonna leave her alone. Oh my God, I feel like crying now.
See, I have a different way. For me, it's the burial of Superman, actually. Because
I'm still crying at that part. Like, I'm crying all the way in the end.
It's like, started. I mean, when he was killed, it was like, it was more of a shock. But then when there was the burial scene, and she was just like so final for a moment, and it really hit me, and I think that one was really emotional for me.
Okay. I agree completely with that.
Adding to all of those that you have mentioned, I would like to add Lara's death. There's so much emotion in that death. She's standing there alone, wondering about Clark's fate, mourning her husband, sending hope to her son. to her son, to the void, the dark void, and in those few seconds, she's holding so much burden, and she dies in the fire. That on top of all the others that you have mentioned, I think that's the one that hits me the most.
For me, I think he always hits me really hard the moment when Lois finds out Clark really died, and Diana gives her that face, and I cry right after. It's insane.
Yeah.
This just confirmed that I'm the softest one. I'm crying before all of you. Like, you're telling me which scene you're crying in. I'm like, okay, I've already started crying at that I love you scene. I'm still crying all the way at the end. Yeah, I'm a softie at heart.
It was a very emotional movie, okay?
It was.
It was.
I find it all exhilarating.
It's
like
exhilarating
from
and
the
emotional.
beginning, of BVS all the way to the bagpipes. It's just, I love it. I don't cry. I just love it. Is anybody else getting an echo?
There is a bit of an echo, but I'm not sure where it's
I
coming
wonder what
from.
I feel like I'm in a stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, Adrian says that she has to go. So we will see you next time, Adrian. Thank you for coming to hang out with us again.
Okay, thanks for having me. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
Okay.
I think there's only like 4 more questions.
Yes. So
Yeah.
the next question is from DC.
And like 3 of them are for cat only.
Oh my god.
The next one's from DC verse 1. And it says, if you could ask Zack Snyder one question about how he was treated by WB and critics, what would you ask? Personally, I wouldn't really have a question about WB and the critics. My question would be, how have you managed to not be like bitter about everything? How have you managed to go on and not be angry? Like, how have you forgiven and moved on?
Yeah, actually, that would be my question. Would be, how have you forgiven them, and how have you moved on with such grace and and professional? Like, you don't see him bad mouthing anyone, or he's just very professional, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But how he was able to do that, because if they did that to me, I would be angry. I would be like swearing up a storm on Twitter at them. Like, well, I mean, Zack Snyder is God, so he, I can't do what God does. But, haha, is anybody laughing at me?
No.
No.
I'm like, do I sound silly?
No, you don't.
No.
So that's what I'm trying to say, that like he's handled it with such a grace, and I'm trying to think of the word
Finesse.
That how is he able to do that?
Anything you'd like to add? Anyone else?
No, I think that's really the best summary.
Yeah.
Okay, the next few
All
questions.
right, Kat, rapid fire questions for you.
And
Yes.
if anyone else wants to chime in with an answer, feel free. Who do you prefer? Henry's Superman from Man of Steel or BVS?
Henry is in BVS, because you can see more sides of him in that movie. Like in Man of Steel, you see him more of him growing up in his environment, but in BVS, you see more of his adult life and the difficulties he faces and how he deals with it. So as far as that, it would be BVS.
Okay, the next one would be shower with Bruce or bathtub with Clark?
Bathtub with Clark.
It's always bathtub with Clark.
And
Yes.
The next one's for everyone. It's kind of fun. Helicopter tour with Henry or Batmobile tour with Ben? I'd go with the Batmobile tour, and I'm driving.
Batmobile. Always a Batmobile. I don't even need Ben there. I just want the Batmobile.
Mine would be
But
a
Henry can
helicopter
come and
tour.
join.
Helicopter tour with Henry, but we would have somebody actually like taking the helicopter so that Henry could be in the back with me so we could make out.
Awesome.
So, yes.
Okay, and the last question. This one is a good one that we can all take a moment to talk about. So it's for everyone. What made you guys fall in love with the DCEU? And for me, my answer is a very easy one. I don't think I would have fallen in love with the DCU as much as I have if it had not started with Zack's Man of Steel, because that was the perfect first step into this new cinematic series.
Yeah. Mine is the same. It's Man of Steel is what reeled me in. You know, it's my favorite movie. It's the best movie for me. Is favorite versus best. They're both favorite for me, and it's just kind of the starting of the whole DCEU.
Yeah, I agree. Man of Steel, I think it made it happen for all of us. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second part of that question, which is from Clovefield, by the way. What are the chances do you think we'll get the Snyder Cut? And what are the chances of Zack returning to the DCU and finish his vision? My answer is, I don't know about Zack returning. That's a really personal question for him, and I don't want to speculate on that much. But what are the chances? Are we getting the Snyder Cut? I refuse any other answer. We're getting it. Whether it's tomorrow or in 10 years, we're getting it.
Yeah, there's no if. There's just when. We are getting a Snyder Cut.
I agree. We're getting the Snyder Cut. And honestly, given the current state of the studio and Warner, I don't want Zack back until everything changes. Honestly.
Yeah.
He deserves better.
I would love to get him the best environment possible where he can be free and nobody's taking questioning or cutting scenes or reshooting things. I would love to see a studio to have the balls to let him do what he does best. Because I honestly think Warner ruined his work terribly. And if things don't change, I don't want him back. Really, honestly.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well spoken.
Like, I'll drink to that.
Like, it's not like that he doesn't deserve them. It's they don't deserve him anymore.
Exactly.
They do not deserve him.
Just like the world doesn't deserve Superman, Warner Brothers does not deserve Zack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, I think the Snyder Cut will be released, like you guys said. Yeah. I don't know when.
Failure
but it is
going to
be a when.
I agree.
And I also want to say release the Snyder Cut.
Yes, release the Snyder Cut.
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
Release the Snyder Cut.
Release the Snyder Cut. Boss, are you listening? Hello? Release the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
If you have to, leak it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So that's it for another episode. Thank you for joining us for another roundtable. And this is Snyder's Amazon signing off.